Hello and welcome to Victory Chat with Jackie Mckeever. I'm your host, Jackie Mckeever. And on Victory Chat, we talk about everything from faith to finance, books, and business. And speaking of business, for season 2, we're doing a special series behind the author's pen where we get up close, personal, all up in author's business and find out a little bit about their books. So today I have a special guest. I have Smuggy, and she has a book series, an Anarchists series. And she's agreed to let us get nosy, put her in the hot seat, and answer the question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Y'all, we are laughing because before I hit record, before we started recording, we were just chatting it up. I was like, wait a minute, we gotta start this. Stop making me laugh. Anyway, so this is gonna be fun. She's a fun person. Okay, so the first question is, why did you write this?
So, well, I originally started writing back in 2017 to cope with my mental health. This book is the third series of a reverse harem multi-genre, The Marvelous Three Saga. I'm a reverse harem author. It centers 3 Black women, a doctor, a witch/nurse, and a computer hacker who become connected based off of a series of events. So when I first started writing, I did not plan for this to be a saga. It sort of happened that way. And I wrote this book at the time when I decided to take a step back in my activism. I was tired at that point, especially during the reign of Dark Cheeto. I used to be a social activist in college, and I went to protests all the time with friends. I lost family and friends because of my activism. It was also around the time that I met and fell in love with my husband, who was also an activist, and our views about the world, how we felt about people, were very much aligned. And in fact, a lot of the guys in this book have several of his attributes. So writing this book allowed me to reflect on the most tumultuous times of my life and kind of bake some of that into this crazy ride of 3 hacker guys falling in love with this smart-mouthed, sarcastic New Yorker, who was based off of one of my best friends. So I only write stories that I want to read, and this one was very close and dear to me because of how much of my own real-life experiences were baked into it.
Cool. So how long did it take you to write this?
I started the first book of the saga in 2017. So I started this series in 2019. It's the third series. It's like a first, a second, and this is the third series focusing on the 3rd Black woman. So I started in 2019 and finished it in 2020. So about a year.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing.
Those are all my free time. But in my defense,
wait a minute, that is amazing. How did you do that?
It is one of my coping mechanisms. So I spent a lot of time. I would suggest to people get therapy instead of just picking up hobbies, but that was what I did.
No, that is amazing. You're a very talented, creative person. That's what that shows. You're like a great artist to do that and do that in less time. Your pencil was just flowing.
It was. My husband was like, come on, lady. Give me back.
Wow. Okay. I'm in awe. Y'all, I did not know the answers she was going to give me. I am in awe. I feel like she should be doing this interview right now. Okay. So, did you have any delays? Obviously not, because you was in the flow, but did you have any delays producing? I mean, maybe not writing the book, but producing the book?
I mean, I do self-publishing, which is a beast on its own. And I only started publishing the books that I had written in 2020 because of COVID. And my mom got hit really hard financially. Like she was struggling, and I couldn't. There was only so much I could do with my income. And I had an author friend who was like, publish your books, like publish them, see what royalties you can get to help her out with. So that was the main reason why I published in the first place. Didn't stop from there. I kind of just kept publishing books from there. And it was a bit of a nightmare because there were just so many moving pieces to being a self-published author that you have to think about that I wasn't aware of. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's a lot. But I kept reminding myself, you're doing this for your mother, you're doing this for your mother. And I think my only delay in like publishing came from realizing that the book in itself was too long, for one, because I didn't know like how do authors price their books and like how long does a book need to be and how do you market to people? Like I didn't know any of that. So I had to like split my books into two, find covers. It was all a learning process. So that was, I think that was the delay for me, was like figuring out how do I do this? Like,
But you did it and you did it well. So I guess that was still, I was going to say it probably normalized it. You probably would have been finished even less than that time if it wasn't for that. Like you are so amazing. Okay. So, who besides you, who who is the book for?
I like that you said besides you, because I was gonna say it's primarily for me. Because you know, it really helps me cope with like mental health trauma I was dealing with at the time, and it was like my happy place. But I would say it's for Black women who are open-minded, who are outward thinking, who don't give into this shaming, slut shaming culture that condemns women for embracing love by multiple people. It's for people who see love as love, for people who love science and computers, because it's a science fiction book and cyberpunk, and who wish to see Black women in STEM majors. My female main character is a hacker genius, and she is involved with the hacker group. She's very much into the science. She's very brilliant. And I feel like we don't really see Black women often in those kind of roles.
That's true.
And there's a very like political aspect to it. So it's for people who are anti-racism, who are anti-homophobia, anti-capital, you know, anti-colorism, all of that, who are really just kind of putting people first. So, you know,
that's good.
Yeah.
Will there be any other books coming?
Yes. So the Marvelous Three Saga is my baby. It's they're the first books I wrote when I first started writing. But it expands into what I call the Smauggy Universe, where all my books are connected. So even though they're like different genres and different time periods, they're still all connected together. And I just finished the Marvelous Three Saga with the fourth and last series in it, that I released in October for Halloween. So that's done, but I do have other books that are coming up in 2022.
You know, when you said Smuggy Universe, it made me think of Marvel, and for real, it made me think of Marvel and what's the other one? DC, Marvel, Disney.
Those are my inspirations. That's where I pulled it from. Like I love the way they connect all their movies together, and I was like, I gotta do it with my books. I gotta make them all connect. So they're my inspiration.
What do you want readers to get from reading one of your works?
I think after reading, you know, both books in the series, the Anarchist series, and it's like Hackers Without Remorse and Rogue Gone Ravage, 2 books in one series. I think I want readers to understand that people are broken, and that we should give those who seem off and distant. I especially felt this during COVID, where people kind of separate themselves. Give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe there's something else going on with them that we're not aware of. Instead of just assuming that people, you know, don't want to be involved with us and they don't care about us, but that there's some underlying thing going on that we need.
Yes, it's not about you.
Exactly, exactly. So, I mean, this book is essentially about a Black woman genius who is kidnapped by a group of anarchists, and she partners with them to uncover the truth about her brother's death. But the goal of the book is to find out what happened to her brother. But in the side story, she's falling in love with these very broken men who are trying to make it in a world that doesn't really love them, and they certainly don't love the world back. And I love writing about flawed characters who are, on the surface, they act like they have it all together, but until you dive a little deeper, you kind of see why they are the way they are. And I just feel like it's very human.
Wow. So what authors or books inspire you?
Well, the first author that comes to mind is Yvonne. She is one of my favorites. She's not just a great storyteller, but she was also been a great friend to me and someone who pushed me to publish my books when I was doubting myself, because it took a minute for me to be like, okay, let me just do this. But authors, when I kind of look back into my history, who really inspire me since I was younger is Bell Hooks, rest her soul. Her works are what inspired me to go into activism. The first time I read her books was in college, and it was so eye-opening. Like, she just helped me learn so much about myself as a Black woman, about the Black woman experience and how multifaceted we are. It was just like, just in love with her work. And of course, Octavia Butler. She's like big in the science fiction world. She's such a huge inspiration to me, and I just love reading her content.
Cool. So what advice would you give somebody just writing their book?
Write the story you want to read. Write the story you want to read. Don't worry about anyone else. The most important person that you need to be happy and satisfied with your book is you. You know, don't be afraid to take that leap into publishing. Share your story with the world. Not everyone is going to like what you write. Everyone has different opinions, and that's perfectly fine. But as long as you like it, as long as you like your story. I love looking back and reading my own story. So that's what always kind of recenters me.
That's cool. Can you give the listeners a quick blurb or a sample from your book and let them know where they can purchase it from?
Absolutely. So this is the blurb that I have currently on Amazon. My book can be found on Amazon. I'm getting more print copies. I'm partnered with my sister, who is her own business owner, and she helps make print books and the art that I created with the book. So she's going to be another shop that you can purchase the books from as well. But Amazon would be the main provider. So quick blurb, this blurb is spoken from Ravage. Ravage is the name of the hacker group. And this is kind of like their spoken piece to America to kind of bring them onto their side. So a nation is only as great as its leaders. BS. Our leaders are thieves, rapists, racists, and bigots. Politicians thrive on lies. Their false promises are illusions and delusions of grandeur. If you speak, they ignore you. If you act, you are put down like a dog. See, the truth is that a nation is only as good as its people. Political leadership is a manipulative narrative that you have been spoon-fed to submit to a fascist regime that thrives on your blind servitude. It's time to take off the blinders and see what's been in front of you all along. But don't you worry, my fellow Americans, Ravage is here to assist you with your awakening. And then just finally, coding genius Tiana Morris catches the unwanted attention of infamous hacker group and enemy of the state, Ravage. Very much a thriller.
It sounds like it. That was good. So you all make sure you go support Smuggy, buy everything she got, because she is a brilliant artist. Okay, anybody that can put that many books out in that much time is brilliant. Okay, because let me tell you, I wrote a sticky note and I couldn't keep up with that. Woo! Thank you so much for coming on our show. Thank you for allowing us to get behind your pen. I said ink, but I mean ink pen. Thank you for standing and being courageous enough to share your thoughts and your ideas and your stories, allowing your creativity to flow. And I look forward to seeing more from you and hearing more about your greatness. And you all, if I hadn't said it before, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the podcast, because there is more to come. And as always, remember, your victory starts here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.